justice is indivisible. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
If any words that I have spoken have commanded attention, that is only because they find an echo in the breasts of those of every lad and of every race who love freedom and are the foes of tyranny.
You are not our queens. You are not our kings. You are not our gods. We do not belong to you. We are not your slaves. We stand as free humans, have stood since the beginning of time against the strong men.
I do apologize. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Wednesday Speakers Corner Online podcast. I'm here joined by my large vaginal cavity enforcement. Manny is he's experiencing a little bit of heavy flow this month, so he's gone on some kind of protest of silence because he doesn't want to say something. I don't know, man. I don't know this guy, and he's like the Alex Jones. He's like the pound shop Alex Jones. apparently he's had too much cum trail this month. And if he takes that tape off, it'll just spill out. So we'll take advantage of the fact that he can't talk, but he's sitting there having to take the shit that I give him. And yes, it's a very, very bright and sunny evening for us all over here, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we're all wearing sunglasses. And Manny and his pet rat. I don't even know what that is symbolizing. I'm not even sure what that is actually. Is it S? Oh, Steve the rat. Is that what it is? Well, there you go. There you have it. And speaking of our jolly old friend Steve, we're going to cover a little bit of Steve tonight. We're gonna give old Steve a little expose, shall we say, because our good friend Steve, atheist Steve, was in fact on GB News the other day. This was on Sunday, due to Salman Rushdie's attack, vicious, cruel, and unwanted attack in New York, as you all may know. Big up Sam M, the man, the legend, the myth himself is in the chat. I was with him on Sunday witnessing this. Sam M almost got into a fight, which was actually not recorded by anyone. Sam, if you note, I didn't have a recording because I wasn't recording anything, and no one else caught the fact that you almost decked that short little fella. But yeah, Sam did definitely become shall we say, agitated by some little twerp who was just constantly bitching and complaining about how offended he was of Hattoon's t-shirt. Like, fucking hell. Get over yourself. But anyway, we're going to go into this little segment from GB News, and our friend and love supporter and gorgeous man Steve, who Manny definitely supports with every endeavor that he has in the future and now and in the future.
This is an incredibly tragic event that obviously requires discussion, and people need to talk about this. But can you give us some background to what's going on at Speaker's Corner? Because you're there most weekends, aren't you?
Sadly, yes.
Yeah. And it seems to me this is the place where free speech is meant to reign, where anyone, whatever they are, whoever they are, is able to get up and say whatever they want.
Yep.
And it should be unconstrained, and the police should be there to protect them. It's all, but something's gone wrong in recent years, hasn't it?
It has, and as I always say, Speaker's Corner is the jewel in the crown of this country's free speech.
Yeah.
You know, free speech being the most important freedom that we enjoy in this country. And as happened in New York, people have behaved the same in Speaker's Corner. We've had a stabbing in Speaker's Corner. We've had an individual who, there was an attempt on her life. She was stabbed. She was stabbed in the forehead. She was stabbed in the neck.
What had she said?
She was a lady called Hatun Tash, who's a Turkish ex-Muslim who fled to this country. She converted to Christianity, and she's a regular attender at Speaker's Corner. She preaches Christianity, and she critiques Islam. She critiques Islam in quite a direct way. She wears a T-shirt with Charlie Hebdo cartoons on.
But that's the point of free speech.
Of course it is. Of course it is, utterly. Yeah, an individual took it upon himself to try and kill her, kill her in Speaker's Corner.
What repercussions have there been there? Have they caught the person involved?
No. The most bizarre aspect of the whole matter was the police were sitting in their police car a few yards away from where this event happened. They drove in their car after the.
I just want to interject in this bit, just to point out that later on, Steve will go on to point out that this case against the person who tried to murder Hatun Tash, in almost the same way as the guy who tried to murder Salman Rushdie, the case has now been dropped. Listen to this.
Guy as he ran off, but to this day, and I only learned today from Hatun that they've now dropped the case. They've dropped the case because they've not been able to identify the attacker. Now
they dropped the case. That means that's it, done. Sorry, miss. You know, you just got stabbed in the head. It is what it is. It's London. I guess Sadiq Khan will just chalk it up to life in the big city, right? Right, as Sadiq puts it all the time, that's the price of life in the big city. Now, I wonder if somebody had done that to a hijabi Muslim, I wonder if the reactions would have been the same. I wonder if the world press would not be screaming, buildings being burned down if a hijabi Muslim in Speaker's Corner was stabbed in the face. I wonder if the reactions would be the same. But no, Hatun, case is dropped. Sorry, couldn't find him. Couldn't find him in London where there's a camera up every fucking person's ass at this point. There's CCTV pointing out of the back of every walking person's mouth at this point. But no, that's all right.
You know, how many? London is one of the most CCTV'd cities in the world. You're telling me they can identify him?
So, you know, let's come back to, I mean, this is absolutely appalling, but to come back to what happened to Salman Rushdie, you know, this is a man who, one of our greatest novelists, wrote a book.
Yep.
He wrote a book.
Yeah.
And this is the consequence of that. So there are clearly some people, a very small minority of people, who just do not value free speech and democracy and our freedoms. And, you know, therefore, we have to probably take more of a stand, like what you're doing at Speaker's Corner. We have to stand up and talk about these things.
Yeah. Freedom of speech is not something that we've banked, that we can put in our back pocket and ignore and think we've achieved.
Yeah.
Actually, this is something. This reminded me when I was watching this. This reminded me of a speech that was given by Gabriel. What was her name? Gabriella, Lebanese lady, Gabriella something. Shoot, forgot her surname now. This lady from Lebanon who went to America. She said, "We are not. This freedom of speech is not just something that we are just simply, given, and that's it. We, like Steve says, we banked it." Bridget Gabriel, that's it. She said, this is not just freedom of speech and freedom of expression isn't just something that we just get given and then that's it, that's forevermore, we've got it. No, we are custodians of these freedoms. We are custodians of freedom of speech in this country, and anywhere that has freedom of expression, freedom of speech, we are to pass this on to the next generation. We are to preserve it and then pass it to another generation, which in turn should recognize that they have to preserve it to pass it on to the next generation. It isn't ours, and then we can do what it is with it, and we can flaunt it, and we can degrade it, and we can ruin it, and we can put all sorts of fucking hate speech laws around it. No, we were given this gift by millions who died. People died for this. We are standing on shoulders of heroes and giants who stood up to tyrants and died so that we can have this. And these ungrateful assholes of these Gen X's and millennials especially, and even some Gen Zs who don't even appreciate the sacrifice people did. They say the price of freedom, the tree of freedom is soaked and is fed with the blood of patriots. That's how these freedoms come about. Your freedoms are not free. Your freedoms didn't just blossom out of thin air. Your freedoms are based. You're standing on the rivers of blood that took to get those freedoms. And now Manny wanted to say some shit, but he still doesn't want to say some shit. So we'll move on to the great hero that Atheist Steve is.
It is something that we continually have to defend.
Yes.
And clearly in the modern era, we have to defend it.
There you go. Yes, the tree of liberty. The tree of liberty is watered by the blood of patriots. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing clearly.
It very strongly and very vehemently, because there are swathes of our own society who don't value it like the likes of you and I value it. And if we don't stand up for it, as I said today when I spoke, it's not about the content of the book, it's not about the content of the t-shirt that Hattie and Tasha's wearing, it's their right to say what they want to say.
But what strikes me is that most of the people who complain about the book haven't read the book.
Precisely.
There's that as well. They've been told that they should be upset about the book, but they don't know why.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand that it was actually an Indian journalist. So after the book had been published, there was no outcry, there was no fuss. An Indian journalist who wasn't even Muslim wrote an article on the book, put the spotlight on the book, said it was highly offensive, and that's what instigated the whole international drama.
Yeah, 90% of people who complain about the satanic verses haven't even read the satanic verses. I promise you 99% of them haven't even flipped over that book. I tried reading it, didn't get past page 3. It's a fucking hard read. The book is considerably different. It's got jargons and all sorts of crazy shit inside it. It's not an easy read. I'll put my hand up. Maybe I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. But it's not an easy read. For anyone who's tried to read it, it's not an easy fucking read. Even those who've attempted to read it, still, Steve himself attempted to read it on Sunday and was like, what the fuck is most of this shit? I've got the recording. I live streamed it. You can see it. It's just like, even Steve was like, what is this shit? I could feel that the essence of most people going, I don't even know what the fuck this means. This is some bullshit.
And this happens again and again, doesn't it? If you remember J.K. Rowling's novel Troubled Blood, which was written as Robert Galbraith, and a Telegraph reviewer said that the moral of this book appears to be never trust a man in a dress. But actually, the book isn't about that issue at all. There's a moment where the killer wears a lady's coat as a disguise or something. That's it. It's not about trans issues.
It's the storm of offence that is generated by often some random person.
Yeah,
that everyone piles into. And you mentioned J.K. Rowling. She is another author that immediately tweeted her support for Salman Rushdie, and within minutes she's getting death threats. She's getting death threats on Twitter.
So this is the problem, isn't it? Is it that we didn't learn the lessons from the fatwa in 1989? That we didn't stand up and say, no, this is unacceptable. You people burning books, calling for someone's death. we stand against you. You know, obviously you can burn a book. That's your freedom. Okay.
Yeah.
But was there sufficient condemnation from the people in power?
I've said we've neither learned the lesson, we've actually deteriorated in the position.
Yeah.
Salman Rushdie himself said in 2015, I think it was, we are in dark times. He wasn't describing the time after all this hoo-ha was instigated, when he was living in a safe house with special brand officers giving him 24/7 protection. He was saying that in 2015, which was a few months after the Charlie Hebdo matter. And he has said, and I think he was spot on, no one could write that novel now. No one would publish it. No one would sell it in their bookshops.
Yeah.
We have gone so far backwards from the moment that book was published.
Okay. I'm just gonna quickly transition to another little segment. This was a documentary made by the BBC actually about the 30th anniversary of the Satanic Verses by a Muslim, and he went around Birmingham asking people about the book, whether they know it, what was written in it, have they ever read it, things like that. And then he talked to a couple of different guys, and one guy he talked to, the guy said himself he was there at the time when Salman Rushdie, when the book burnings and all that happened. He was actually there burning the book, or at least supporting the burning of the book. And then this happened. This exchange happened.
The author said it's a critique of religion.
Now the guy moved on, talked to another guy. He's talking to this younger man, but this guy that's just about to get into shot was the one who actually
useful.
Look, this was the guy. Look at that. He became so irate that he actually came back.
The author said it's a critique of
Look
religion.
at this. He became so irate that he actually came back. Look at this.
Oh, come on then. You fucking bastard. Come on then. In the book.
Can I have my book back?
Fuck you. In the book. No, it's in the book, no. Come on then. Fuck you.
30 years. 30 fucking years on. And these people are still like this. And then people talk about, oh, Islam, we got to reform Islam. We
The
can
author
reform
said
it.
it's a critique of religion.
We can reform Islam.
Oh, come on then. You fucking bastard. Come on then. In the book.
You see fuckers like this at the Speaker's Corner every week. Every week, this low IQ bullshit. And this isn't, oh no, it's just one Muslim. That's just one Muslim. Is it? Is it really? I can show you 20 of these cunts every fucking week at Speaker's Corner. Every week. Week in, week out. I can throw a rock and hit one of these fucking idiots at the Speaker's Corner.
Book.
Can I have my book back?
Fuck you. In the book. No, it's in the book, no. Come on then. Fuck you. I'm going to burn this book. Film it. No, film it.
Look at
Don't
these.
come out,
Look
profit.
at these.
Go fuck yourself. Go fuck you.
Walk
No,
out.
I'm ready. Come on, Rusty.
Shut your mouth right now. Shut your mouth. I knew what the book was about. That's why I didn't want to do bullshit with you. You can record it, you can put it over BBC Media, I don't give a fucking shit. You know you come to Bradford, okay, Muslim girl, trying to say that shit.
How's that Muslim ghetto? I'm from down the road. I'm from Huddersfield.
This
It's not a Muslim ghetto. I'm a Muslim.
You go to a Muslim populated area, trying to say shit.
All I can tell you is it's coming to a town near you, people. It's coming to a town near you. This is fucking Bradford or Birmingham. I don't know. That fucking place is lost. That's gone now. That is no longer England. If you think that Birmingham is now part of England, you are sorely mistaken. That shit is gone. Coming to a town near you, as they say in the movies. Just watch out. Crazy Muslims ripping books out of your hand because they don't like it. Or next time they will be chucking acid at your wife because she's wearing a short skirt or not covering her hair. You think I'm saying these things and it's hyperbolic. Watch my fucking words. Write this day down. 17th of the 8th of 2022. Banksy told you that there'll be a day where they'll grab your wife and smack her around because she's not covering her hair or she's wearing a skirt too short. You say I'm hyperbolic now. Watch this fucking space. That day will come. If you lefty cunts don't fucking sort out your fucking act and start getting this fucking country back to its roots. Because that day will come. Because me and Sam, we've seen it happen in Iran. It happened in front of our eyes. A country that in 1978 were wearing miniskirts, and 1980 were wearing fucking chadors and full hijabs. That's how quickly that shit shifts. Anyway, now moving on to my next particular topic. This is a coverage of something that one of our hosts on this channel, on the Speakers Corner Online, who is Citizen Sid, who does a show tomorrow night. There you go. Manny's clapping away. Clap away, Manny. You still not saying anything, bitch? I thought there was like a 30 minute. I thought the tampon was only going to be up there for like 30 minutes. Or is it not 30 minutes yet? Okay, we'll keep going. Keep the tampax up there tight, Manny, tight. Don't let anything flow out. keep the hole plugged, the hole corked. But anyway, I digress. Yes, this is Citizen Sid, who was actually doing a anti drag queen storytime protest today, and these are the wonderful drag queen storytime supporters. Now, the funny thing is, I just want to preface this. Citizen Sid is a young girl who does a Thursday show, who's been doing a Thursday show for the last couple of weeks on this channel. So if you guys haven't seen Citizen Sid, lock the channel in on tomorrow night. Like and subscribe. First of all, like and subscribe. If you fuckers have watched 3 of these streams on this channel and you haven't subscribed yet, I will find you and I will personally do something nasty to you. Okay? I will personally do it hard. If you've watched 3 of our streams and you're still not a sub, we've got issues. We've got fucking issues. Okay, we're gonna have words. Now, as far as this channel is concerned, yes, she's on this channel tomorrow night at 8 till 9, and she'll probably cover some of this as well. I just want to briefly brush over some of the beautiful side of the supporters of the LGBT. Now, the thing is, I'm a supporter of the LGBT community, but I'm not an insane asshole like these idiots. And besides, drag queens are not LGBT. They're not T. They're not transgendered. They are men who want to be men, who live life as men, who dress up as women. Just like Lily Savage, just like Dame Edna Everidge. They are men. They don't live as women. They just do this as a cabaret act. It is an adult entertainment act where they dress up in corsets and all sorts of other kinky shit, fishnet stockings, and people stuff 10-pound notes down their fucking underwear. That it is an adult entertainment act in an adult facility, a nightclub, a bar, whatever the scenario is. It is not a children's friendly act. If they brought, now I'm gonna call it what it is. If they brought Cinderella's, I don't know, ugly sisters from a pantomime, because it's usually men dressed up as women in pantomime with like the ugly sisters. Now, if they did Cinderella's ugly sisters reading story time, I actually don't have a problem with that, because pantomime is for children. It's a show designed for children. Fishnet stockings and assless chaps of fucking drag queens is not an act designed for children. And if you don't believe that these people wear those kind of costumes and they go and read stories to kids, there are videos on the internet who will also show you otherwise, that they actually march up and down with the little child in their hand and ask people to shove 20-pound notes in their fucking underwear. So no, this is not a child entertainer. This is not a fucking circus clown. This is a drag act. It's a very specific thing. It is akin to having a porn star or a burlesque fucking artist read stories in her fucking costume with the feathers to your children. What is wrong with people? What is wrong with these parents? And you will see there are parents who fucking march their little kids in what do you call it? In pushchairs into this fucking place to go and see this abomination. Now, unfortunately, this is the point where I wanted to actually freeze this, because some people are making allegations that Citizen Sid somehow is in line with the Patriotic Alternative. As we all know, Patriotic Alternative is is headed by Mark Collette and Laura Towler, who Mark Collette is an avid neo-Nazi supporter, and Laura Towler is questionable, but I would say she's probably in the same mind frame as Mark as well when it comes to their affinity for the socialist, nationalist socialist party of the 1930s Germany. So personally, I would not affiliate myself in any way with them. Now, Citizen Sid has since in private has told me that she kept herself neutral and she didn't want to be affiliated with them, and that's a good thing. But unfortunately, it seems that Patriotic Alternative have seen these drag queen story times as an opportunity to bring their particular message and try to align themselves with those who are against this. And I think they're trying to hijack this particular issue. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with them. I think they should be severely called out for this, and people who are there who are not affiliated to them should also call out Patriotic Alternative for trying to smear effectively this movement of protesting drag queen story time. They're effectively smearing it with their name. And everybody's now, then what do you think the newspapers are going to do? They're going to report neo-Nazi supporting Patriotic Alternative went and protested drag queen story time. They're not going to talk about regular folks who went there and said, no, this thing is fucked up. No, it's all going to be smeared with Patriotic Alternative all over it. And that's unfortunate. That is a very unfortunate thing. And that it is what it is. Now, unfortunately, there are people who are cheering Patriot Alternative. So this is what I mean. This is the problem. There's a whole mixed bag of different people with different backgrounds and ideologies. But now all of these people are going to be painted with the same brush as Patriotic Alternative. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how is it that they're able to get away with this. I remember in 2019, 2020, Patriotic Alternative, the only thing they could do was shit their pants on the mountains of fucking York, on some godforsaken hill in York, where they would cover their face whilst holding up the stupid banner. Now they seem to have gathered some kind of fucking testicles and a backbone, and they're now showing up in city centers. So I don't know exactly where they managed to gather their testicles from, but personally, I think that the authorities and various organizations should seriously make sure that these people are put back in their fucking box, because they are now, unfortunately, smearing this entire and ruining this entire movement of protesting against drag queen story time, because everybody's going to think these assholes belong to it. But whatever. Now, some people say that this little clip here, where Citizen Sid's father, unfortunately, is kind of cheering as if he's cheering Patriotic Alternative. I don't think that's the case. I think that he's just simply cheering because in a protest, when you have such vicious opposition, you're just glad that no one's some new people who've just shown up are not ready to kick your ass or swear at you or smear you. So I think he's just simply cheering because he's very highly charged today because his daughter is there, and he's literally when they had to go there with 5 other people just to protect his daughter from being attacked by the Antifa, who is also there. So I don't take this as absolute support for Patriotic Alternative, but it has been interpreted as such in certain groups. So let me just that little cheer has now been interpreted that that Citizen Sid's father is now in full support of patriotic alternative, which is clearly bullshit. Okay, I'm not going to give Pierre any more airtime, but just to use this drag queen story time to tie in with another issue, which also includes trans individuals doing very, very questionable and illegal things. And this is to do with a particular trans individual known as, oh man, what was her name? Eli Eric, something like that. Eli Eric. Now, this individual, Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire, has basically made a mission to take this person down, because this person is now saying that they are willing to ship steroids and other like puberty blockers and other types of trans affirming drugs to children around the United States if their state will not prescribe or allow the doctors to prescribe it to them. So they are now going to start an entire drug smuggling underground network to give steroids to girls and puberty blockers to boys and girls, and I don't know, estrogen or whatever type of gender affirming drugs various children might demand. Effectively, they're now going to give drugs to children all around the United States, and Matt Walsh has gone on a crusade on this one. So I want to play that.
It said, there are over 20 states trying to criminalize hormone therapy, particularly for trans youth. So my friends and I had an idea, sending out our extra prescriptions around the country. If you need hormones, I'm working with a distribution network to get you access. Everything is free, no questions asked. We have hundreds of doses of testosterone, estradiol, and spironolactone, I think is whatever it is. All that is available right now. All are prescribed by doctors and unused. Each package comes with information on dosage, obtaining blood work, etc. I realize this is a Band-Aid solution. We need full access to affirmative medical care for professionals immediately. However, missing a single dose of hormones can be devastating, especially for trans teens and those new to hormones. These laws are outrageous, and I can't wait for them to be overturned. In the meantime, DM me if you need HRT or if you have overprescribed hormones that you'd like to send out. Now,
so that's what's going on over in the United States at the moment. I'm not going to go into the rest of the show, but basically Matt Walsh is now trying to organize a campaign to have this individual arrested effectively at first for literally providing drugs, prescription drugs to children. Second of all, they've contacted this individual's university. Now, you see, this is the thing. No one's talking about this as being cancel culture. They are effectively contacting the university to try and get this person fired, or at least let them know that they have a PhD student on their faculty that is effectively setting up a black market drug network around the United States to give drugs to children. So this, I mean, it is a form of cancel culture, of course, from the right, but is it not justified? Because this person is literally breaking the law. It's like saying that the dude who went and robbed the bank, and because you saw where he lives, but if you report him, is cancel culture. You're robbing him of his ill-gained his money that he stole from the bank. I don't think reporting a thief or someone who breaks the law is cancel culture. I think this is perfectly justified. But I'm sure there'll be others who are going to go there and who have already started saying Matt Walsh has started a harassment campaign against this person. They're sending out all their millions of followers to harass this individual. No, this individual wants to give drugs to children, unprescribed, not even, diagnosed by their doctor. This, I don't know. It's a very, very sketchy situation. Manny, you are 33 minutes in. Is your vagina still bleeding? Are you not able to? Are you okay? I just want to make sure that you're not lightheaded. Do you need a drink or perhaps something to eat?
Shut up.
That's a lot
Yeah.
of blood from a
I'm
a
back.
human
Yeah,
being.
shut your mouth. I saw the coverage you gave to your boyfriend, Steve. Steve the Rat is very, very upset with you. Steve the Rat wants to know why you were digitally Steve at the beginning. Okay, let me tell you what I've just done, people. I've just had a silent protest because Banksy Steve style, under the table style, didn't want money. Don't you say anything horrible about our darling Steve. So now I'm going to do a special show on Friday where I'm going to show Steve openly supporting Hope Not Hate. Yes, evidence. And there's somebody in the chat.
You got to bring the receipts.
Chat that's been sending messages about that 16-year-old girl who's trying to be an independent journalist, Citizen Sid. And the exact messages that he's been sending, Antifa attacked her on. And she even showed the messages. So I'm going to be discussing that. There's a lot of shit being going on because this bum pussy here, though I love him, Banksy Steve Rat style double agent. Yeah, he's cool. He's a laugh. Yeah, but annoyingly, he stopped my free speech. So Friday mayhem.
Did I really stunt your free speech, or did you just refuse?
Steve the Rat is very upset.
Apparently so.
Okay,
so,
we've got to do one thing though. One thing.
Yep.
We've got to do something very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
1 minute. Let me take my boxer shorts off. Only joking. Right. We're giving this amazing piece of art away.
Okay, let me make you full screen. Hold on.
Yeah, you make me full steam.
So you can actually show it all.
That, look at that. Even though he could be a double agent, you never know. He is an amazing artist. So this piece of art is called Speaker's Corner. And we're giving this away.
Manny did buy this with his own money.
This is how you enter. Could you show any of the rooms? Could you possibly show a room with the sky? So you can go into
Are you talking about Speaker's Corner online?
Speaker's Corner online. Go to the yacht room.
Go to the yacht room. Okay, hold on.
So this is Banksy's gonna love this. Yeah.
Am I gonna love this?
Had Banksy not talked a lot of garbage, I would not have thought of this. But if you go to
the yacht room,
the sky. Now the competition is this.
Are you sure you want me to go to the yacht?
Yeah. You've got in one of these rooms, you will find at least one chemtrail. Look up to the sky. Look up to the sky. So you've got to find a chemtrail. Now, the reason why I brought Banksy into this room, there's actually are no chemtrails in this room because it's just a normal sky. But if we go to one of the games rooms, for example, if you go to either the chess room, I can't remember which games there. I haven't played the games for a while now. Go into
Connect 4.
Yeah, that's the one.
Because the chess room is indoors.
Not the chess room. Yeah. That you're on the right one.
Well, Connect 4 would be ideal.
Because I'm playing chess. You're playing Connect 4.
Connect 4.
If you move around, you'll eventually see a kind of a chemtrail. You'll have to move around a bit. I know you're like laying there like a sack of potatoes. She told me, but you're gonna have to move around this time, Banksy.
All right. Okay, I'm moving.
Okay, now look around the sky.
Look at the sky.
You can find a dodgy-looking cloud formation.
Dude, this is like digital. Why would they put chemtrails in a fucking digital sky?
There.
Where?
There.
That spiral?
That's a spiral cloud. So that's a dodgy-looking cloud formation. Now, there's a number of these chemtrail-type clouds. The person that sends me the best screen grab, which I think is the best screen grab, to info@speakerscorner.online shall win Raj's artwork. It's as simple as that. Now, I've just shown you the worst one, so don't send me a picture of this. But in a lot of the rooms, whether they've got a sky or not, there's some kind of chemtrail. either through a sky, through an image or something. Get me the best one, and this artwork will be yours. The competition closes next Wednesday, and we'll announce. No, I'm going to announce it on Friday. Fuck Banksy. Hey, why should he join in with the fun? No, I'm on Friday. The first person to send me info, then the image to info@speakerscorner.online is going to win that artwork.
Woo!
And I'm going to send it to you. And if you don't want your address, whoever wins it, we'll send it to a secret agent drop-off point, because Banksy knows loads of those.
Yeah, I just want to simply let the audience know when he says chemtrails, he means the digital stuff. So if you happen to squirt onto your monitor after enjoying a bit of Cornhub, then that is not on us. Okay, that doesn't count as any kind of chem or chemtrail. As much as Manny would love those images, and he will probably collect them for his own personal portfolio, but they are not considered actual chemtrails. That would
shut your dirty, filthy atheist mouth before I reach through the ether and double elbow drop your shit. I saw the cheekiness that you were presenting, as much as I was amused.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to the other thing. So Manny, do you have anything you want to any videos, any topics you want to cover on?
Well, the most dangerous stuff, the most controversial stuff, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it on Friday, okay? Because I know you can't handle the heat.
I can't handle the heat.
But anybody who's been sending messages and attacking minors, you're going to have an issue. I can tell you that right now. So do I want to share something? Yeah, I've got quite a few things to share. Do you want something comical or do you want something serious? You tell me. Oh, let's have something comical. Can I share my screen?
Yep, just requested and I will. I don't know. Are you requesting?
1 minute. 1 minute, please.
It's just I'm not 100% sure if,
because I've actually found an Indian version of you. I don't know if I told you.
There's a version of me in every continent on the planet, but it looks of it just a fat bald guy. Just find the fat bald guy. There's a version of me. Of course, now I'm sporting this gorgeous beard, so that's an entirely different thing. But how is it you're sharing? You don't even need to ask me to share the fucking screen. You can just share it yourself.
So this is a traffic warden of some sort in India.
This guy really takes his job seriously. Moonwalking.
Okay, so the next thing I want to share.
Michael Jackson dancing.
The next thing I want to share. Now, let me just play this. So, what we have, the Hindus have this ceremony. The Sikhs kind of have it too. But the Hindus have this ceremony. It's called Rakhi. So basically, it's a festival of brothers and sisters celebrating the fact that they have each other, right? So the sister ties a thread, which is called a Rakhi, onto a brother, and the brother has to put his hand in his pocket and give him a present and some money. So it's definitely a brother and sister thing. It's not like a daughter and father thing. It's not like anything like that. In fact, it's frowned upon if anybody else does it. Now, look at this codswallop of an Indian prime minister. I find this very disturbing. But this is what he released on Rakhi Day. Now, this Humpty Dumpty of a man thinks it's okay to pretend that these children, these poor little girls, are his sisters. They're all kids.
So this can only be done between brothers and sisters. No uncles,
only.
And Only brothers and sisters.
Only brothers and sisters.
So clearly he doesn't know this this tradition.
And then obviously I'm not going to present something without giving something to you, Banksy, because you're a good lad. So here's something for you.
For decades, this region in West Texas has been pummeled with droughts. Reservoirs and lakes often sit almost empty. Grass has gone brown, and crops are struggling.
The last rain was in October. We went through all the winter months with no rain. Our cotton, as you can see, none of it's came up. Every acre of our cotton just about is on bare soil. That's bone dry.
In the heat of Texas, things can sometimes look bleak. But what if I told you that there's a way to help fix this problem?
What could that be? What could that be?
I wonder what could that be. No one knows, by the way. No one will be able to guess what this incredible mystery possibly could be. No one guessed it within the first 3 seconds of the fucking video playing.
This year, Texas has already hit record temperatures, including here in the West Texas city of San Angelo. Some farmers in this area of Texas deny that human activity is driving climate change, that can help protect this cycle. It's called cloud seeding.
Cloud seeding.
Clouds to make more rain.
That's why they call it chemtrails, because seeds and cum are required in order for it to...
around the world that practice cloud seeding.
Let's see how it works. They're just like chemtrails. Who would have thought of that? Who would have thought of that?
Oh, good evening,
Chemicals coming out. Let me hear it. Chemicals coming out. You've got egg on your face, and nobody likes an omelette in the evening.
I'm sure those eggs are very runny.
Big up Reverend Simon Sideways.
Yes, Simon Sideways in his house.
Simon, can you come on? Can we send the invite to Simon?
If he wants to, but I mean, you know, he works early in the mornings. He's not a...
Yeah, but the man's a machine, let's face it. Let's try. Let's try. If he comes on, I'd like to ask him a couple of questions. If not, I'm going to jump onto your show on Saturday anyway.
He didn't have a show last Saturday, I don't think. Did he?
No, I was supposed to. No, Simon said to me, "Why don't you jump on Saturday?" But I was at a wedding.
No. I don't think Simon even had a show on Saturday.
He did. I see. I don't know. Okay, I thought he did. Yeah, sure, Simon.
I didn't see one. Give me 2 minutes. Oh my God, he might come on.
So in the meantime, let's talk about my rat Steve.
Now, you know, for like 3 seconds when you had it up close to the camera, I thought that was my hairpiece. I was like, what's Manny doing with my hair system? How do you manage to get a hold of that?
Well, there's so much of it. It was.
No, sorry, I looked over there. It was over there, so mine's all right. Mine's safe. I just had to give it a little bit of water and food. It'll be all right.
Okay, so just to reiterate, if you want to win Raj's artwork, all you have to do is find a good chemtrail in one of the 3D rooms on Speakers Con Online and send us the image. And is this our guest?
No. This is MC. I know MC. He's all right. Hello, MC. Course. Big up.
Hi, big up. And I am
man from Poland.
By the way, Banksy, I give you a message on Discord. Have you read it even?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I missed it completely. I should have picked it up on
you should even say no, and that will be good.
I know. I'm so sorry, man. I saw it. I couldn't reply at the time. I thought, okay, I'll reply in a minute, and then I totally fucking forgot.
Oh shit!
and then next thing I know, it's fucking Wednesday. We can do it. We can do Thursday or Friday. Actually, let's do it on Friday when Manny wants to do his show and wants to give away his art, and we'll do it right in the middle of his show, so we take all the audience from him.
Yeah.
Okay. I have so much to tell you, frankly, about the situation, how it looks like now. I mean.
Yeah. Either Friday or Saturday, mate. Definitely one of those. We'll do it. We'll do an hour.
But I have to really give this advice. If you're afraid, probably that the member of the peaceful religion of peaceful use of pieces of pointy metal objects can steal your stuff, especially books. I mean, can you not at least, I don't know, put them on a, I mean, not on the bacon, but you know, even on a live pig, here, there, everywhere. So maybe they will not touch it.
Oh, you are so right, dude. We should get Hatun to record a video where she actually rubs every page of the Quran with bacon and ham, and take it to the park and say, "Now steal this from me, bitch."
Ladies and gentlemen, we've been joined by the legendary.
Evening.
I mean, I would be eating bacon. And whatever they would steal, I would even take.
Want to talk to Simon, dude.
Yeah. MC, chill. We'll do this Friday.
Okay, good that you tell me. Okay.
We left you. We don't have to put up with this type of rabble anymore. So, thank you for joining us.
No problem, mate. I'm sober now, which is quite interesting. So that's nice.
Go back out.
Fuck off. Go get pissed. Come back.
And then we can both have a go at fucking Banksy.
Yeah. No. It's all done in it now. So whatever.
Okay, so I've got a question for you. So can we agree that if somebody puts another person in a position of disadvantage based on their race or color, that person who's doing it is racist? Can we agree on that side?
On both, actually. If they put them at a disadvantage or an advantage.
No, we're talking about disadvantage.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is if you put somebody at a disadvantage, you're being a cunt. But if you put somebody at an advantage and say, I've got to put you up, it's actually saying they're shit and they need the help. No, just leave them as they are.
Right. All right. So on that basis, can we agree that PA and the people that run it are, as a minimum, racist? I know you don't think that they are Nazi, Nazified or are Nazis, but can we agree that because they want to put people like, you know, good-looking people like me out of the country, that they are on that basis, them are racist? You get me?
Young blood. Mate, if you want to sling somebody out, right, who's being fine in this country, living fine, not causing any problem working, I'd have to question you quite heavily and go, what the fuck's wrong with your logic?
If I was to kick you out of India, or based on the fact that you don't have a better suntan than me, and that you've got dark brown hair, and I prefer people with black hair and big noses.
That's called racism when you pick up a person, or you have a problem with a person purely for the color of their skin.
Right. So we agree that PA is racist, right? Agree?
If that's what they're saying, but I've not heard anything or watched anything because I've no interest at all in PA. None.
Then why did you? Yeah, I kind of get that from you.
Right. I heard him say this about me moderating.
They were Nazis. Then, I thought you must have a strong reason for you not to think, because I definitely think Colette is Nazi. I'll be open for a conversation about the lady. I can't remember her name, but you categorically said you did not think they were Nazified.
Well, I've done some more research, and I still don't think they're a Nazi, although they do, right? I mean, to be a Nazi, a true Nazi, you've got to actually be over there in Germany, all right? Anything else is an exported bullshit fucking copy, all right?
Yeah. I mean, everybody, when they say this Nazi, it's an overused term anyway, but
it's
generally
cringe.
we all mean Nazi sympathizers or neo-Nazis.
Or somebody who likes National Socialism.
Yeah.
Or somebody that likes doing things to fucking people with big noses. All right, let's not name fucking names here, but you know what I mean, right? Basically, but you can be a racist and not be a Nazi, all right? As we've seen all over the world. I mean, India's racist, right? Isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, and when you look at China and Japan.
India is probably if not the top 3 most racist country and government in the world.
I've got Sikh mates that say, we're as racist as fuck, and I pat them on the back and go, look here, mate. Bless. Because I think that, I mean, as mates, if we really, really got on and we're in a room away from everybody else, I could call you racist names and you could call me racist names as a term of endearment, as we used to do in the old days. But
absolutely.
You can't do it now.
My friends still do.
Yeah, because somebody will take offense on your behalf because they haven't got an offense of their own. You know what I mean? Wankers, right? But if you want to boot somebody out purely because of the flavor of them, right? Not that they've done anything wrong or whatever. No, I'm not into that. And at this point, they're going to call me, and did do, a lot of names, because what is it they call me, an FNAT? Or is it a Civ? No, Civnat, isn't it?
No, I think you're still in the Civnat category. I don't think you've.
Yeah, look, at
moved
the end of the
away
day,
yet.
if I find a nice, good-looking black woman who like me, I'd have to test her sanity. But anyway, I'd date her, no worries, all right? And that goes the same for Chinese or any other flavor. It doesn't matter what the color of the cunt's skin is, as long as they're nice to you and you're nice to them. That's the way it is. Now, they're going to hate me for this, and if you're watching, all right? But I couldn't give two fucks because they're going nowhere anyway. But I mean, when you're led by a bloke who stays out of the sun and hisses at garlic because he wants to look the whitest bloke out there, you're like, bless, all right? And I don't think marching up a hill occasionally when no cunts around and putting a flag up is really actually leading the country forward. Sorry, I don't.
Let me correct you slightly on that. They are now protesting drag queen story times. We literally covered one this morning. They are actually the PA guys are coming out with their signs into city centers now. They've managed to gather some backbone.
Oh, that's nice. I wouldn't mind watching that one. See how that goes. Because at the end of the day, if you can't go on the streets, you're too scared to go on the streets. How are you going to lead a country?
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the other things that when I used to go onto that god awful server, FRD, free range dickheads, also known as.
That was quite the server. You used to be on it all the time, Banksy. I was thinking, fucking, how does he live on here, mate? There's some fucking idiots on here. And what was it? What was the leader? James. What a wanker. That was a hated white people, wasn't it? Right? I want to be surrounded by people of different colours because I hate my skin and I don't want to look like a fucking racist. All right, well done, mate.
And he was probably one of the most worst racists. Because he said one of the most racist things I've ever come across privately to me and Raj, and me and Raj were just shocked. We were like, "What's going on?" But anyway,
Raj himself said to me, he says, "I love winding up," and he named the group, and he said, "I fucking like him at all," and I was like, "Well, that's very brave of you," because you remember I went to an Al Quds thing, right? I had no idea because we were down to Speaker's Corner areas. There's a thing on about Al Quds. Al Quds, what's that? A cookery fucking lesson? I didn't know what the fuck it was. All right, grab the camera and off we go. And then I seen James Goddard, right, which was funny as fuck. And he's literally opposite all of these Al Quds with the opposition flag waving and go, ooh, like this. I'm like, oh, that's ballsy. Well done, James. Get on. But he was there just to troll fuck out of him, and it worked a treat. It was quite good. So, James, if you're watching, love, hi, love. Oh shit, shouldn't do that really when we're talking about that group, should we? Hi, James, how we doing, sweetheart? And incidentally, how's the little Oaks? You all right? And this is all right. There we go. Well, if you're gonna have a laugh at it. Anyway, well, that's why I was 2 minutes. I was just polishing off my boots and finishing off my goose steps. So, that was. I mean, to be serious, they worry about the demographic turning coloured in the next amount of years and us being a minority. I'm worried about that. Not because I have a problem with, say, for instance, Sikhs or Indians on their own, right? But any big demographic taking over the original demographic is bollocks. If we turned India white overnight, you'd have something to say about it. All right. If I went to China and said, sorry, mate, you need some wider eyes here. All right, that's it. Fuck it. Let's get a load of Brummies in here and fill it up. Well, they did that with Spain, but that's another story. So if I did that to any country around the world, they'd have something to say about it. But it's all right here. No. Did you see that Jewish woman saying that we need to change the demographic of Europe? And they won't like us for it, and we're going to be leading it, but it has to happen for Europe to survive. No, it doesn't, you stupid woman. What you're doing there is racist. You hate the white people of that fucking Europe, and you want to fuck them over. Now, she may or may not be representative of the Jewish people. I haven't spoke to enough Jewish people to understand whether that is the case. However, I suspect, might be wrong here, that there's a lot of Jewish people that don't even want to get involved in politics. They want to keep their head down and work.
That's the vast majority always.
Yeah, and I've seen over in Israel a load of Jewish people getting fucked over by Jewish people, which I really can't get my head around. Because I was led to believe that they stick together because of after the war, what happened, and they all tried to help each other out, and they wanted to make sure they got into education and they were getting themselves into positions of power, so this would never happen again. That was my understanding.
The diaspora is, but when you collect any group of single, population in one place, they will then they will have infighting eventually because they'll start jostling for positions of power and influence within that group. So in Israel, there's probably Jewish people fucking over Jewish people all the time, but
a lot.
The diaspora,
that's from what I found out. And I'm like, why would you do that?
As a whole wants to try to because of the persecutions of the 1930s and 40s. So yeah.
Can I ask you a few questions, right? Now, you know, there's a load of people think the Jews are guilty of everything, right? There are.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when we're talking about PA, there's a load of people in there that really believe that the Jews it's their fault for everything, right? But when they are massively overrepresented in our government and in the Senate in America and stuff like this, I mean, hugely, hugely overrepresented, it's going to make people suspicious. And people are going to go, why is it there's so many of them when the population of that country, there's only X amount of a percentage that are Jewish? Why is it there's so many? And it will cause people to think something suspicious. I haven't got the answer, but I will say they're massively overrepresented as they are here. Why is it 5 Jewish families own 250,000 media outlets around the world? And then all the media outlets, you've seen them on YouTube where they tie them all together. They're all saying the same thing off the same script.
Yeah,
we know the media lies to us, but it doesn't help when those Jewish families own it and people are going to go, hang on a fucking minute.
Not just the media, the movie industry. Which, well, I mean, when you say media, I thought you meant like the news agencies as well as the Hollywood.
We'll call it what used to be the papers and the big screen. So
exactly,
but yeah, they are massively, massively overrepresented, and people are going to get suspicious. All right.
Look, we've got Steve Hope Not Hate in the chat saying massively overrepresented. What nonsense!
Oh, so, Steve, how's the unisex toilets going on, son? Have you had any meetings lately? Hey? And by the way, can you have a word with your mates at Hope Not Hate? I've done my best to be the biggest fucking horriblest, racist, xenophobic, homophobic, everything else. I've even written a letter of complaint saying you haven't ruined my life yet. Can you have a word with them, please? Because I'm afraid I'm very disappointed with them. All right. I expect more.
Holy shit. This is not gonna end well. But
mate, let's be honest. What they're gonna do? I've been to prison, don't give a shit. I've got no money, you can't take anything off me, right? And I've lost more jobs because of what I do, so it really doesn't fucking matter. I live alone. What are they gonna do?
Why are they going after your jobs? Is it your bosses or
no? They don't. No. Literally, what happens is I'm getting noticed where I go.
People recognize you from the shows.
They recognize me from all sorts, right? And they go, "Oh, it's that bloke." And when you say what you say about immigration and stuff, and the places you work are packed full of immigrants getting ripped off, and you happen to mention that, they get the And and the last time I got sacked, let go, he said, "Unfortunately, we don't believe that your politics are the same as ours, so we're going to have to let you go." Oh, right. That's awfully fascist of you. Oh, well, it's not my views. I agree in free speech, but I'm just doing what they tell you. Just following orders?
Shit.
I should have videoed it. It would have been brilliant. I'd have had a fucking case. I could have, but I didn't. I just went, do you know what? That's the way you are. I'm off. I wouldn't want to work for a show of shit like that anyway.
But yeah, no, I think you would have had a case because you can't. It's got to be unfair dismissal. I mean, political views are not. They should be protected, aren't they? I thought they were. Protected.
Yeah, but
you get fired over your political views.
Well, here's the thing. I was doing videos from the cab. That the reason they would have sacked me, right? They would have changed. So I actually got him to say there and then. So the reason you're getting rid of me is because of what I believe in, my right-leaning tendencies, and you don't agree in that politically. And he went, yeah, that's right. Now, if I'd have videoed that and then went back after and said, well, it's a safety perspective that he's videoing himself in the cab. What you do is you set the video off first. Now, these cabs have got videos. They've got a camera over there, one here, one facing out, 2 on either door, right? And they've literally camerizing everything the whole time. So the fact that I've got a camera out of the swept area of the windscreen, which is legal, and I turn it on before I set off, then I'll do whatever I do. And then when I stop, once I'm parked up, because you've got to turn the engine off, you can then take it out and think, right, I'll have that. And you edit it. And I do all my editing and everything on my phone anyway. So legally, there's no case because you talk to a passenger, don't you? And you look in the rearview mirror. So, that's it. But they just don't like your political views and they want to get rid of you. They want to silence you. So fine, fuck it. It's a war.
But you truck lorry drivers, you're worth your weight in gold at the moment, aren't you?
No, they bring the wages back down again, aren't they? And what they're going to do, right? We used to have if you passed your car license, you could drive up to 7.5 ton. And Europe changed that so that you had to take a test to drive a rigid vehicle over 3.5 ton and a further test for your class 1, which is the articulated. Now they want to reduce it so the 7.5 ton you can drive again on a car license, and they're thinking about one test does all. And they're actually going to try and reduce the skill level right down so they can just get any Tom, Dick, and Harry, which is, it would keep the price of driving down, but it would kill loads of you lot.
Awesome, thank you. I ride a motorbike, so that's comforting to know.
yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, these cameras on the inside, right? Because they've got video cameras now as mirrors, a lot of them, which is quite good. And they've got a camera down here, and they've also got a hollow part in the door so they can see through. Because the cyclists in London are lunatics. You've seen them, right? And they're trying to kill themselves the whole time. But motorcyclists, as long as you ride with your light on and you're not trying to come up the inside all the time.
I can't turn off my light. European Union laws made it so that my bike does not turn off the light. I don't have a switch anymore to turn off my light. I am incapable of turning off my headlight on a motorbike.
Do you realize that you're 20% in a car? You're 20% less likely to be involved in a car accident during the day if you have your lights on.
Really?
Useless fact. Wow. So in a bike where you're very narrow, you can't see, that light is a massive difference.
Yeah. But I mean, I said in the European Union brought in a law where we don't have a choice. Your light is always on. You just turn on the bike, it's on. The problem is if you have weak batteries, then you're in the shit because you can't actually start your bike because your headlight's on. But I mean, other than that, modern bikes most of the time they're fine. And even with modern cars, you know that there's the LED lights that always come on. They're always on. Same with
I think it's a good idea
LEDs
because
are always on.
Early mornings, late summer or early spring, you got the light looking straight at you, and if you're driving towards the sun, you can't see what's coming the other way.
I see.
The other thing I'd like to discuss with you is I've noticed from my analysis that what was the conservative movement, the people that were in there are generally either moving towards the far right or they're steadily going to the left. Have you found that with some of the people that you follow and monitor on that? Because I've seen it in so many ways.
If you were to say follow the Conservative Party now, you'd be Marxist almost, right?
Yeah.
But you'd be left wing because the Overton window shifted so far that the left are extreme fucking socialism, whatever. I mean, there was always three layers in not the Conservative Party, the Labour Party. There were three groups, and I believe there's something similar to that in the Conservative Party, but. The interesting thing I was told by somebody who knew Anne-Marie Waters said that she was part of the communist part of the Labour Party when she was part of it. That's mental, isn't it? And then you go to UKIP and then you set up for Britain and then that didn't work. So whatever. But
she shifted massively to the right. But I think most of her shift is due to Islam and not through other.
We've been forced right.
Well,
I was a fucking liberal when I started. Serious. I was just live and let live. Who gives a shit? I was like, who gives a shit about any of this? Let's all just get along. But as time went on, I realized that wasn't going to be the case for me. They couldn't just leave us alone. They wanted to change the rules. They wanted to change how we could say what we could say, who we could date, what we could do, all this kind of shit. So it was bollocks. And we just decided that fuck you. We resented it. And we're like, who is going to look after us? And the far right are saying, we've got your back. And we're like, yeah, but aren't you like something to do with this? Like, no, that's not us. No, we just want to look after. But the right is, or you need something quite right wing to take care of the situation. So, like, shut the borders up, deport a load of people, quick, sharpish. And some people might say it's an infringement of their civil liberties. Well, they broke the fucking law getting in here. Fuck them. And that's the way I feel. I mean, here's the thing, right? You got a load of family over here, right? That years ago came into this country legally. All right. They worked their fucking ass off to come here. They wanted to leave whatever it was they were at there before. And they wanted to sample England. They wanted to see England as it was. They liked it and they stayed and they had a family. Well, when you import all of these cunts that come over here that don't give two fucks, right?
In fact,
they're breaking the law. Your family fucking hate it and say, well, hang on a minute. They're just getting given everything. We had to work our ass off. We had to save for fucking years to get a house. That shit. It takes the piss. And it makes the original people that come over here resentful of the immigrants as much as we're fucking resentful. Because at the moment, I've got to pay shitloads in tax, right? And I'm going to have to pay more tax. And you got all these fucking, we're having a debate, incidentally. This is somebody you should get on your show. Right?
Yeah.
He's called White Van Man, and he's fairly left wing. And I did
Yes, Oh no, Black Van Man. I know. Sorry, I didn't know about.
No,
White
Black Van Man. He's something different. But White Van Man, he's from Brighton. Well, I did a piss take about him because he was on. He took a particular dislike to Belfield and Paz, so I just ripped him apart, as you do in a video. But I was, partly joking and partly not. But he wants to have a debate with lots of different types of people, and he wants to have a debate with the right. But because you're sort of somewhere in the middle, you would be better qualified to host it.
Yeah, we should look into that, Banks.
Definitely. I'll look him up and I'll contact him. The thing is, what you're saying about about the fact that the old, if you like, old school immigrants versus new school immigrants, and the fact that they're resenting them, even if you try to even in this modern sort of culture, if you try to even express that, you are called a coon, a turncoat, you're burning the bridge behind you, or you're pulling up the ladder once you've got up the
that's cultural Marxism trying to stop you talking out, right? Now, it's nice to hear it from the other side, if you like, because we don't get to hear this, right? But maybe at some point what we should do is have a sit down and get people from different communities to say all the names they've been called. And because I get called Little Englander, I get called far right, I get called fascist. I don't ever get called good looking or youthful anything. But anyway, this time's moved on. So, fuck it, I'm old now, whatever. But what we should do is all sit around the table, right? One day, somewhere. Yeah. And get somebody to video it. And what have you been called and what have you been accused? And about the one topic that affects us all. And that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from Leeds, so trust me, I'm going to beat all of you.
This guy Leeds.
But the thing is, I'm talking about like the kind of names you get called, not by people who hate you for your race, but people who are supposedly of the ethnic minority. Who constantly, I mean, the amount of times that online and in Speaker's Corner in flesh, people just simply turn around to me and go, you know that they hate you too. They'll have you deported as well. I'm like, dude, that doesn't change the fact that the amount of people that have come in here, and I'm not even talking about like supporting PA or anyone who's on that level. I'm talking it's just the simple numbers. This is an island nation. It can only support and sustain a certain number, and it is not going to be able to manage. I mean, the thing you were saying about you pay a load of taxes, and what pisses me off is, believe me, between me and my brother, actually brothers now, we pay extortionate amount of tax. My brother, specifically my middle brother, he pays a shitload of tax, at least when he was on PAYE, because he's a lawyer and he makes serious good money. But
does he feel better about putting him up in these 5-star hotels when they're laughing at him and everybody else?
It's not even that. The crunch moment for us was our mom got ill and she had a severe back issue, and we wanted her to get an MRI, and we thought, Britain, National Health Service, we paid all this fucking tax. This is it. Time to cash in on all the decades of tax we just paid in. They would not give her an MRI. They would send us in circles for months. My mom was in severe pain. Finally, we were like, screw this. We're going to pay private because she needs this MRI, because then she can then get the injections that she needs for her back. I can't let my mom suffer because some asshole NHS wants, a doctor wants to run us around the park. So when it comes to collecting on the shit you pay for, you can't get it.
Yeah, you don't. No, I mean, I'll never have a pension from a state. Nothing. All right. I'll be too old. I'll work till I'm dead. Or die.
Pretty much.
Whatever.
I'm looking at the same thing. I'm looking at the exact same boat.
In the old days, I mean, you will work to death anyway. Like if you say, for instance, retired in the 40s, 50s, 60s, you didn't live really, really long. Nowadays, we're living for a hell of a time, and we've got to fund that. And also we're bringing all these people over, and also the arrangements that we have with paying for people in foreign countries, and it's just fucking mental. But anybody like you lot would be considered as eligible for special treatment as me, because you've been here, you were either born here or your family, or you've come in. You haven't just got off the boat, basically, I'm afraid. So you will not get preferential treatment. I mean, anybody who thought they could pull the fucking race card, but I'm a minority. Sorry, mate, you've been here, I don't know, 6 months. You're as fucking white as him as far as we're concerned. Now, that bloke, different. But people People don't understand that when you fill a place, there's not enough hospitals and there's not enough doctors, and we're not training our own doctors. That's something we've been raping other countries of their skills, and that's wrong. If we went to India and nicked all their doctors, and India doesn't have the money, I say they haven't got the money. They've got the money to do a nuclear program, but it's another story, right? But anyway, the fact is, they haven't got the money to go training doctors for them to then, as soon as they've been trained up, fuck off somewhere else. And I believe that if we're going to rate these countries of these doctors, we have to pay them the exact same money as it would cost us to train a doctor up over here. That would be fair. And then see how often they want to do that, or then when they start thinking maybe we'll train our own up.
Yeah, and these hospitals and these reservoirs and these train lines and all these other facilities that were built for the British people, they were built, decades and decades ago, after World War II, in the 60s or 70s. They weren't built. They were built when the population was just a few million. Now the population is on a whole new chart all of a sudden, and what they're trying to do is say that we the people are to blame. There's too many of us. There's too much of this.
Well, you should all stop breeding.
The government has ended up with not the facilities not being adequate to the population growth, which has grown mostly because of largely
immigration. It hasn't grown because of population birth rates. Because even the birth rates of the black nationals who've been here since the Windrush and all that, even they're not reproducing. They're not having kids as in replacement.
Well, they got westernized and thought, I fancy holiday. I fancy actually having some nice stuff.
It's not a Western thing. It's a rich thing. It's happening in Dubai now. It's happening in Saudi Arabia. Because they're wealthy, they're not having as many kids as they used to. And these people can get married four wives.
There is another reason, right? We used to have big families because the kids would die back in the day. And when you think that they're not going to die now, unless you were very, very unlucky, you don't need to have so many kids. And obviously contraception now, we've got that. We've got family planning. We've got all the other things in the way. And also we've been, have you ever seen a documentary called The Century of Self? It's a really interesting one. Anyway, it's 3 parts and it's 3 hours each, and fuck me, does it go on? But it starts at the beginning, say for instance about 1900s, when the globalists started making big factories and they started making sort of tobacco factories, car factories, that kind of stuff. And they thought, how do we get the people to buy more? Because people's attitude in those days was, if it works, keep using it. Make, do, amend we had during the war. And they said, how do we change their perception? So they got Sigmund Freud's nephew to come in, and he had to change, say, for instance, men smoked, right? But the women didn't. He said, how do we change the women to smoke? So a really big event over in America, he got 6, I think it was the most famous female stars to smoke that day. Overnight, that was it. They all started smoking, all the women, right? So you've doubled how many people buy your product. With buying cars, this is what you deserve. And this is how we started to do the things. It's not that, you don't fucking need the car. You don't need the bigger house. You don't need to rub his nose in it down the road. Keeping up with the Joneses, you've heard that? Yeah. Well, that was purely consumerism, right? We need to make these outbuy each other, right? Now, say for instance, everybody's got a house.
Yes, also built-in redundancies in these sort of cheap-made products as well, so that they actually fall apart after a few years.
So feminism was part of this, right? Now, first wave feminism, great idea, right? I mean, in part, get them to vote. What could go wrong, eh? But anyway, right? So you get them to vote, and they enjoy that, and then you tell her, you say, he doesn't think that you could earn enough money, or you could go out to work or whatever, but you could be independent. She went, yeah, I could be independent. Well, why don't you go out and get a job? So they flood the market with cheap fucking labor. What happens? Now you've got an over amount of people going for the same job. You drop the value of that job. Now she has to work and he has to work because the wages of the one man won't do the job. So now you've got 2 taxable incomes, right? And you've got 2 people out working. One household. We got a problem here. How do we make more money out of that group? Split the fuckers up. And that's when you start telling a woman she didn't need a man he didn't need a woman, and you drive the wedge. And this has happened, right? So now you've got 2 households, both consuming, both want a car, both want a fucking holiday, and we're spending even more and even more and even more. And in the end, they devalue also the pound in your pocket. And here where we are. We've had men and women driven apart. Nobody's happy. Don't know our fucking roles. Not having kids anymore because we're thinking about ourselves. We're not thinking about the future. In Ireland, the population dropped that much that they said we actually need immigration. And then they flooded it with was it million people? Like I said, they would. I said it would take 10 years, but it took 4 or 5 or whatever it was. But yeah.
Same with Italy, right? Because there's not enough reproduction to sustain the population in 2-3 generations or something.
It's really easily how you turn this around. We are very gullible as people, not say, for instance, one person in particular, but as the group. And many people want to have the latest fashion. Many people want to look good. Virtue signaling, what's that? That's what I want to look good in front of my friends. I want to look the best. Well, what you do is you have this massive advertising program and teaching in schools, teaching in universities that having kids is good for this. Marriage is a good thing. You bring back the old values, and that, you have a higher social class if you've got a man that works and a woman who's looking after her kids well at home, and it's a big family that's happy. They get the social status. And also you give them financial incentives. Didn't Romania, was it Romania or somewhere like that? Did it?
Hungary.
Yeah.
Hungary. Yeah.
So someone like that, one of these countries, he incentivized
going
them.
back to this traditional way is I agree with, and I support, and I recommend as well. The problem is, how do we achieve it? Because before Britain got to that point, because it was a Christian country, will we be able to convince people to go back to the church? Is there even churches left for people to go back to? I mean, the question is, how do we achieve what we want to achieve, where above anything else, people start to see the value in family and staying as a close family rather than being consumers, wanting to be an only person, single person and living in a 4-bedroom property. I mean, how do we achieve what you're recommending there, Si?
Well, you've got to root out the Marxism and the communism and all of that isms that's going on in the back channels right now. We've had since, did you know about the School of Frankfurt, right? The School of Frankfurt over in America was the beginning of them trying to ruin the fabric of America's fiber. But they didn't just try it there; they tried it here and other places. Yeah. But mainly, predominantly in America, the hippie movement, that was part of it.
The move against capitalism, really.
Yeah, basically take down the country, make it cripple from within because they couldn't fight from without. Now we have people in teaching that believe that, like, either socialism or communism is a great thing, and they're trying to push it on the kids. We've got people in the civil service that are like that. We've got people that are advising government that are like that. And you need to be able to root them out. But how do you do that in a way that's not like every other fascist movement before? And the only way you can do it is by teaching people the ills of. So how many people died under communism? You're like, fucking hell, quite a few. How many people at the moment are doing well under socialism? Not so good either. But at the moment, they're trying to brainwash our kids, and they've done really well. I mean, you've got kids out there that think they're a fucking spatula, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? They're idiots, right? And there's so much health and safety because we've dumbed them down for the last 15 years in their computer rooms doing fuck all else, right? We haven't trusted them, and we need to put kids back into the army, right? So 2 years national service to toughen the fuckers up and teach them how to be a man or a woman if they want to join the bloody army or the navy. If a woman wants to do it, crack on. Right, we need army cadets. They need to be fashionable. Sea cadets, air cadets. We need to bring back stuff like that. And we need to just root out this fucking shit talking that to be married is a bad thing. To want to do right for your country is a bad thing. To be a man is a bad thing. To be a trad is a bad thing. No, it's not. Since we shifted to these fucked up ideas that you lot have come up with, right, our country and our society has gone downhill rapidly. If we went back to the old school that worked, it's common sense, but you need to teach it. Things are going to change because the pendulum shifts, doesn't it? Right. And when this society starts to collapse really badly, right, because all the weak people are in charge, that circle, strong men create good times. Good times create. Yeah. Right. Well, we're going to have strong men come out of the middle of nowhere. These are the blokes that are working at the moment. They're looking after their family. But when things get so bad, they'll come out the woodwork. And the far right, as everybody's afraid of, because don't forget, the far left and the far right are full of mental health problems, right? Both sides, riddle with it, right? What you need, they're not
gonna have the mental stability to be able to actually hold or sway any population.
I would say the more atheist Britain or the West has become, the more effed up,
susceptible,
right? I mean, it's okay to do the most ridiculous things. It's okay to support paedophilia. It's okay to do the most degenerate things on the planet. I mean, do you think like I was born in the 70s, right? I was born in the 70s, and I grew up, obviously, majority of my childhood was in the 80s. If some of the things that goes on now, like you promoting drag queen story hour by convicted,
let it kick the fuck out.
Atheists
my
drag story hour.
Yeah,
I'll sit on the fence here because you're going to like this because it's both sides of it, right? If you were born into a Christian family and taught the tenets of Christianity, right, the commandments and all the rest of it, and that was used in the early doors as a bit of a there's your fucking A to Z of how to live, kind of, right? If you're not sure, go back to the Bible. And I mean, the Quran's the same, isn't it? It teaches you how to eat, how to wash, that kind of stuff, right? But the Bible was, don't do this to your neighbor. Like, don't covet your neighbor's wife. Well, that's a fucking given, isn't it? If you fuck your neighbor's wife, you've caused all sorts of grief. You split his relationship up, your relationship up. All right, it's not worded like that. But as atheists in England, right, they do live by the tenets, a lot of them, that Christianity is put in place by law and all the rest of it, right? However, if you believe that it doesn't matter what you do on this earth, that you're never going to pay for it, because when you die, you die. If that's what you believe, then you're going to be more inclined to just say what the fuck and do whatever you like.
So right? Where do you stand? Where do you stand, Banksy?
No, I completely disagree because you're not no man is an island. You are restrained by the society in which you live in. You're restrained by the fact that you have to have a social contract. This concept of you just said do unto others as you have them do unto you. It didn't come about from Christianity. People literally lived thousands of years, if not hundreds of thousands of years, prior to Christianity, and still abide by the contract of do unto others as you have them do unto you. It is called the social contract. It's something that the wolves abide by. It's something piranhas abide by. It's I agree not to hurt you.
Have you had a conversation with many piranhas lately?
No, because you can see their behavior. Piranhas don't eat other piranhas.
Yeah, I get that. Look, we were taught, right?
They have a social contract amongst themselves.
When we were growing up, what they would do is, well, they didn't say it was a social contract. It says they tell you this in the Bible. Well, the Bible tells you this. That's what we were taught when we were kids, right? And I went to a private school for a few years until I beat up a few kids there, and it was advised that I'd probably be better off in state school. We were skint anyway. When you show up to a really posh private school with a Ford Cortina and everybody else is in Rolls Royces, it can give you shit. So anyway, but the first book we had to have was a Bible. And so I'd be reading through it, like as you do, and I was like, fucking hell, this is a bit harsh. But, some of the stuff in there made sense. However, a lot of school kids growing up, we had assembly and you'd sing a few hymns, but none of it really meant a great deal. And it was around the 80s that religion was losing its grip because Marxism was setting in. Whose phone's that?
And there was a lot of paedophilia in with the vicars and stuff, right?
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're Catholic or Protestant, they were fucking the shit out of the kids. And they've been covering it up ever since. And
this is what I like about the British people, because when they saw that, they backed away from the church, and that really accelerated the atheist upward rise. But you see, I can't say many other religions would do the same.
Well, if you ask a lot of people, they say I'm religious, I just don't go to church. Now, there's two types. There's I don't go to church because I'm a fucking lazy bastard. Right? Or I don't want to go to church and mix with those bigoted fucking Marxist commie cunts, right? Because the church has been the British church has been totally taken over. You go there,
That's
right?
true. The Anglican, you're talking the what's it called, Church of England.
Well, the Reverend Mother, she's got a church opposite. That's we call her the Reverend Mother, right? Oh. And she would go to church, and they started telling you how you got to vote during Brexit and how you've got to be during this, and you've got to have the jab because God would frown on you if you didn't. Fuck off. Yeah, this is what I mean. It's been so corrupted. Yeah, and we're going to let drag time come into the church. No, you're fucking not, sunshine. Now there will come a time. Happening? Yeah, right. Because churches have a community hall or whatever bolted onto them, some of them, and stuff like this. But they've done some really Marxist shit, the BLM movement and all that type of stuff, and they politicize everything. Personally, in years to come, I think when we start going more to men are men and all this other shit, as the system fails, right, all of these people that we've used to break the system, like all the different gender things and, you know, all the immigrants and everything else. We've used them to break the system. Once the system's broke, they'll be cast aside. Now, we've had a load of kids that have had their junk fucked up. Well, they've been on tablets, right? And when they get thrown aside saying, well, it's your fucking fault, innit? We're in the middle of a crisis, tough shit, man up, right? They'll go and kill themselves, right? Because they won't be able to cope. And we've also got a generation of kids at the moment that are just mentally weak. They're fucking useless, right? And I don't know if they're actually fixable, right? But the whole point is, how the hell do you take over a country when it's got strong men and strong kids and strong women?
You destroy the men first, then you can access the women, and when you got the women, you control the kids. At the end of the end game,
you make cowards of men, and they've made cowards of many men. And people go, "Oh, you're brave." No, I'm not. I just say what needs to be said.
Yeah, see, the end game when I've analysed this, is to control the kids, which they do. I mean, they bring up the kids in schools. I mean, the school and the government is the real parent, if you think about it in some sense. But once they get to the kids, they can brainwash the kids, but they've got to remove the father, then the mother, and then they get to the end game. And look,
what do you think?
Our generation, our generation, are made of different stuff, right? Whether you're black, white, or whatever. But you see, the newer generation, the lads, majority of them, they're just made out of chewing gum and God knows
attitude.
What. Yeah,
and they're like packs of hyena, a load of kids nowadays. Whereas it used to be the lone wolf who was hard, all right, or small gangs. They're like little packs of hyena. They're not fucking hard on their own, right? But we've got problems with them as well. But we're in a hell of a mess in the West, and you've heard about the different types or the different stages of an empire. Well, we're at the end of ours, right? And it's decadence, and like it did with Rome, they held people like the gladiators up high. They held their chefs up high. Well, we've got celebrity chefs, and we've got fucking UFC stupid reality tier, all that kind of crap, and we hold them up really high, right? But we're going to collapse. The system is going to collapse. But part of where we are at the moment is the rich who have come down through all these different generations in the back. You don't know who they are, but they're the ones that own the actual money. They're the ones that have the power. They've seen the way that the situation is going, and that we live in perpetual inflation and interest and stuff like this. And the banking system is teetering on collapse, and it has to collapse, and the money system has to collapse. So they're managing this because they've got to come out the other end still in charge, right? And they're going to manage the way we go forward. Now, people like Klaus Schwab is actually a puppet, believe you me. I mean, he's a fucking very interesting puppet, but nevertheless, you'll have nothing, you'll be happy. And this winter, when they take shitloads off us in gas, electric, when inflation goes through the roof and people's rent will go up and we won't be able to get fuel for our cars, and we're going to have power cuts, allegedly, this will help break the system some more. It won't be finished by the end of winter, but it'll be a lot further. And we're going to also
wake up.
Yeah, we're going to then furlough people on their electric. So we're now going to pay everybody's $4,000 bill, or not everybody, but a load of them, everybody's $4,000 bill, and the country has to borrow again. And sooner or later, they're going to default and they're going to collapse, right? But this is happening in Germany, France, Spain, Italy, all over Europe. America's going to go down, Australia, New Zealand, right? The whole white, shall we say, but they'll take India as well and whatever. And I don't know anybody that'll actually stay up, because China's fucked now, isn't it?
Yep.
China's having major banking issues right now. They're literally, banks are not giving money to people.
So they say that we'll have one government, right? And what they'll do is they'll make sure that we struggle so much that the weaker people, these are the people that go with the latest fashion and have the latest thing and
get
the latest shit, right? Okay. These are the weak people that just go along. It'll get so tough for these people that whatever they offer them, they'll accept, because it'll just please take the pain away.
Indeed. And it's mass psychosis is in many ways. It's a psychological control thing, and they're very good at this. The people that control the governments, the secret powerhouses, they're very good.
BlackRock. It's in the comments there. The person's totally right. BlackRock's the one that. Did you hear about what's the word? Netflix. Now Netflix, everybody went, why did they go so woke? This is interesting, by the way. BlackRock tell other companies around the world, people around the world who want to invest what somebody's credit rating is, right? But they'll lower a person's credit rating if they're not being woke enough. So when you saw things like Cuties and shit like that going out on Netflix, they were forced, although they shouldn't have done it, and it's wrong, but they were forced to do all this. And when you see all this woke shit going on in these companies and it's go woke, go broke, you think, what the fuck are they doing? But if they don't follow this, their credit rating goes down in such a way that people won't invest, that people pull the money out, and they'll go down anyway. But now they were doing what this BlackRock was telling them to do, and they were still going down. So if you look at Netflix now, they're going, fuck that. They're getting, is it Chappell, Dave Chappell, or Chappelle, whatever his fuck.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle, Ricky Gervais. Yeah, they're putting all these guys on.
And now people are going back to them. So what will happen is people will go back to them and invest in them. BlackRock will give them a bad deal and say that they're not worth investing in. And there'll be this. And it'll be interesting to see who comes out of it. But at the moment, anybody who doesn't go woke will end up being finished by BlackRock. And that's why there's so much of this around, because it's all part of the plan.
But people are rejecting that whole agenda. It's
because it's not entertaining. It's not fun. I mean, like watching us, if we just said nothing else but politically correct stuff, it'd be a fucking dull watch. I mean, I'm not saying we're the best people to watch, but when people come out and actually have the crack, take the risk, say what the fuck they think, right? They go, like that. I mean, I'm not particularly fucking bright or anything, but why have I got near on 50,000 subs, right? Even though I'm blacklisted by the powers that be. It's because I couldn't give a shit and I say what I think. And people love that. It's a refreshing change. You haven't got to be particularly bright or fuck all. You just say what you think.
Yeah. So because most people just don't want to. They can't afford to say what they think. They kind of. I think I see it that like you and even Tommy and other people like that. People kind of vicariously live through them. There's so many times where I get people come up to me in Speaker's Corner and they're like, "Oh, mate, you keep saying the things you're saying because I wish I could say it." I'm like, dude, anyone can say it. You can. The YouTube channel is free. You could just create a channel and just say what you want.
The problem is, right, is they think that the system will come straight away from them, right? Why do you think nobody comes? I've had a visit from the police once at mine, right? And that was due to PA. Did I tell you about that?
No.
Right.
Tell us.
I think, preach, this is my child. So I think that there were some documents or something went awry. Somebody was doxed up in Scotland to do a PA. And my name happened to be on this list. Now, they didn't tell me about in conjunction with what or what it meant. And they didn't say it was actually PA, but I kind of deduced. They say, what do you know about a patriotic? I said, it's nice to be. Huh? I said, there's a group called Patriotic Alternative. They said, well, what do you know? They said, well, your name has appeared on a list. So I'm like, here we go. What they're trying to do is they're trying to feel me out, the coppers, right? Because this copper's been given very little information and told to come here and see what my reaction is. And he's been sent there by his chief super, who's had a message from something like some organization like GCHQ or something like that, because they keep their eye on far right. And what they want to do is see if you're a terrorist or see if you're a troublemaker or see if you're active or whatever it is. And also to see if you're weak and if you can be corrupted or if you can be bought. So he comes to the door and knocks on the door, and I didn't open the door. I said, who is it? And he said, oh, it's PC, whatever. So I said, right, round here. And I put him to the front window. He said, well, we've been around a few times and seen your van, and this is all subtle, passive aggressives. We know who you are and all this. I went, yeah, all right, cool, fine. Well, it's no fucking, everybody knows my vehicle because it's been in the videos. So he said, your name's shown up on this list. And I said, am I in danger? They went, no. So we'll send a chat then, isn't it, really? I said, is somebody likely to come round here? He went, no. I said, well, I kind of hope they do. He went, why? I said, because I could do a kick in the fuck out of something. And he was like, I said, mate. So this patriotic alternative, I said, I have no idea anything about it and I've no fucking interest in it. So I said, go back, tell whoever it is you need to tell about that. I said, no, we finished? He went, well, yeah. I went, cheers. Shut the window. Fuck off, innit?
So just to recap on what you said initially. So do you think, what was the purpose of them being there? See if you're weak so they can corrupt you? Like
the police, what the police want to do is they want to get people on the right to inform on people on the right. Take Northern Ireland, right? When I came into this movement very early, right? When you call it a movement, YouTube and meeting people, because you meet people of all sides. I got taken over to I went over to Ireland and met up with a guy called Jim Dowson. Now, Jim Dowson offered to send me on training things, right, that weren't normal, we'll put it that way. And he could set me up with funding. Now, Jim Dowson's hope not hate, so I'm told. But I didn't want to get involved. I didn't know him well enough anyway. And I thought, why is this bloke coming out on a Sunday fucking morning in a hotel to meet me and want to help me and get me? Because he was saying that Paul Golding's getting £11,000 a month and I've organised that and I can do the same for you. I was like, oh yeah, so what's in it for you? And I'm a bit long in the tooth when things like that. I'm like, nah, fucking I'll stand back on this one. So that was the sum total of pretty much. I mean, I think I had a few phone calls with Jim Dowson, but that was long before we even had any idea what he was. Sure. But there was other people that came up. I've met people in Ireland who were ex-paramilitary. And they said, sorry, remember this? I was like, goodness, this is the last words. They said, if there's 10 of you in a room, 6 of you are probably all right and 4 of you are no good at all. If you're in any sort of a movement or anything that's any threat to the system, there will be people in there. Now, Speaker's Corner is ram-packed full of them. You know it now yourself. I mean, when you look at little Steve, I mean, I have to say, with regards to Steve, I always looked at him and thought he's a bit out of place, right? And why would you, don't take this the wrong way, if you're in a particularly white area of the UK, think, I've got to get out of here and move somewhere where it's multicultural. What's wrong with white people, mate? You know what I mean? And why is it you want to move to one of the biggest shit bits? Sorry, that's parts of London are, right? I'm surrounded by trees, beautiful wildlife and loveliness, right? I look at London and go, fucking lovely here, isn't it? Fucking nearly getting run over.
Yeah.
It's not where I want to be. Why would you want to go there? I can't get the blokes thinking.
I'm literally weeks away, if not months away, from leaving London. And I'm going to the countryside. I ain't coming back. London's a shithole. I hate it.
It's fucked. Now, London's always been big, dirty, and multicultural for well over 100 years, isn't it? Because I mean, people think that this is a recent thing. In the like Jack the Ripper time, you had the Jewish section, you had the Dutch section, you had all sorts, right? You had that, right? So it's not a new thing, but it is a new thing all over the rest of Great Britain. However, I would not want to go and live in London. I hate going to London, right? I like meeting some nice people in London and I like the architecture, but I just don't, it just depresses me how that place is so not British anymore, or it just doesn't look it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't, and people might think I'm racist for saying this. I don't want my country to turn black or brown. Why? Because it wasn't meant to, right? And India's not meant to turn white. And China's not meant to turn fucking European, is it? Right? So this is why I'm like this. But I have to say that there is people in this country that came over years ago that are fucking lovely. And there's people that come like lately. I work on site and I drive through all these different barriers. And one's manned by a black guy who's the most friendliest guy in the world. He's lovely. You want to get out and get the guy a cuddle, right? And the next one's manned by a wanker who doesn't speak any English and has got an attitude problem. And you can see by the look in his eyes, he fucking hates you. So you can't blanket them. Some are great, some are bad. But we don't want to be flooded by the bastards because we haven't got a fucking room. We haven't got the resources. We haven't got, as you said, the reservoirs. They're not building any new ones. Build loads of new houses and no reservoirs. It's fucked. Why would you do that? Also, the reservoirs that are there, they're not dredging them.
Yeah.
The European Union told our farmers to stop dredging all the local rivers years ago because of wildlife or fucking whatever. So what happens is they silt it up and the water flow doesn't work. So we now have flooding.
Yeah.
But
then they blame it on climate change.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, we've had a massive hot spell and now we've got downpours. Isn't that what's happened every year since time immemorial?
Yeah, they've built thousands upon thousands of properties on these flood-prone areas, and all they're doing is waiting for it to be flooded so they can say climate change. See, we told you. Here's
Do you know what's funny? Go on Google. I think it's actually on YouTube. I looked tonight, and it's the Sun. London floods, and it's showing flooding, and you're like, fucking hell, that looks bad. Then the next thing. They've showed, is it Ireland? But what they have missed out or forget to mention, that's the fucking tide coming in. Some pricks parked on the beach, right? Those are waves, all right? And then it pans around. You can see the rest of the beach. You're like, and you're saying that this is the bad weather.
Yeah.
You disingenuous lying bastards.
You can't make it. Yeah, I mean the falseness of this of the media now is just a complete
No
joke.
shame.
I mean, I'm like Banksy. I don't even put the TV on. I mean,
I haven't had a TV in my place since 2015. I've got monitors, but there's no aerial. There's no TV. I mean, the TV there is linked up to not a PlayStation. What the fucking call it? It's a gaming rig for rallying. It's the closest I'm ever going to get to rally a Mark II Escort. So there you are.
I've seen you on your Discord driving. It's
I've got better since. Anyway,
like I have to say, because it was very worrying since you drive trucks.
If you have a look at the people that are most likely to go and stand up to, say, the British government, the type of people that are most likely to go to a demonstration or to form a group to stand up against tyranny, it's going to be white people. Right?
It's also going to be people on the fringes.
Right, but yeah, it's going to be white.
By the way, this left-wing guy, right, that I was telling you about, he says, no, this was the van man guy, right? Okay. So he was saying that what we need to be worried about is the upcoming power problems, the bills and stuff. And I agree with him. And he says, you right-wingers, he says, you worry about, I don't know, NatWest or wherever it is, changing their pronouns. I think it was some other bank, actually. He said, changing their pronouns, and you think that's a big deal. It's nothing, he says. It's nothing. Talk about the bigger things. But it's like Rome wasn't built in a day. It didn't fall in a day, right? And, it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. There's many different things that add to the downfall of our society. And teaching kids story time by a bloke with his cock half hanging out, or changing some poor bastard's pronouns, all of these things add up to it, but they don't see that as the bigger picture. Yeah, kids getting raped. Yeah, I agree with you there, right? But all of the things need to be highlighted, not just the really big stuff, because if you notice the big stuff, you let all the little stuff happen, and that's the erosion.
It's like the leaky tap, which is just dripping one drip at a time. But if you allow it, it'll flood your whole house.
Fucking right, yeah. Oh, the ceiling fell in. What was that? Little drip. Yeah,
exactly.
But this is the why. But they want to. Well, he does. But how genuine, I don't know. Wants to reach out to the right, and he wants to build bridges because he thinks that we've got a situation coming. He's right, and we need to work together. And I'm afraid we will need to put our differences aside with the left, the right, ups and downs, and anything else. We'll all have to work together, because if we don't, we're going to get fucked in the ass. And this is all planned, right? If you believe Ukraine is the reason that we're paying extra on our gas or electric, take for instance fuel, right? We're going carbon zero, net zero, aren't we? Right?
Yeah,
that's the biggest hoax and bullshit. But it's worth trillions to the people that are pushing this shit, right?
Yeah, of course.
And the thing is, the price of fuel that we were paying, say, for instance, 6 months ago, right? Ridiculous, right? But we were paying the same for a barrel of oil then as we were in 1992. And I was paying 56 pence a litre, or maybe 60 pence. Right?
That's going up.
And our government are fucking us. And our government are not the only one. They're all
just a little interference. I'll be short. We cannot forget all those lockdowns, and that Biden actually killed the Keystone Pipeline. And no, Ukraine is not the only thing. And I, the arch Russophobe here, can confirm that. So you're right. Thank you. That's all.
Also, I heard, at least this was from Nigel Farage, who said that the British refineries actually have been taken there in order to cut down in the carbon emissions and all that, net zero goals. They actually were told to cut down their refineries to half production, because they offset all the refineries
was
to
that
Russia.
OPEC?
I don't know exactly how it all
what
came
OPEC
about.
do. OPEC decide that we're going to reduce barrelage to put the price up of what we have, right? It's a bit like if you said that there was loads of anything, like loads of diamonds, loads of gold, loads of oil, it reduces the value. So the first thing they do is they tell you that there's a massive shortage of diamonds, gold, oil, whatever it is, and you can put the price up. Now, if they're producing too many barrels or too much, and there's a time on fuel, how long it takes to go off, by the way. So you can, if anybody's seen an old classic car, the fuel in it goes sour. So So basically, there is a set amount of time between the time it's produced to the time, and if there's too much, they have to get rid of it, right? So OPEC decide that the price of a barrel at the moment is low. So what they do is reduce the production, push the barrelage pricing back up. They've been doing this since fucking hell, since I've been alive, and then some.
Yeah. But no, it's not just that. What Farage was talking about was the fact that it's not that OPEC has actually reduced the number of, Saudi Arabia and all these other countries are not actually haven't changed the amount of barrels that they're producing. We're doing it as much in the same way as when petrol was, I don't know, £1, 10 pence or £1.20 or whatever a liter.
Yeah.
But what happened was when because you know this trick that they've been pulling off these Western European countries of pretending that they're green by actually giving the dirty work that they used to do in their own countries to some other country to do, and then it makes them look like they've lowered their carbon footprint, whilst actually all they did is just offset it to someone else.
Offset it to say somebody's cheap that want to buy up, and buying somebody's carbon footprint was a good deal for, say, for instance, China, India.
Exactly.
I mean, I remember
let me get what Britain did was they told the refineries in Britain to go down to half production to make it look like we're environmentally friendly, and then gave the rest of the production to Russia. And
that shouldn't surprise you, should it?
This is what happened when the Russians when the shit hit the fan with Russia and Ukraine, and they had to sanction Russia. Bam! All of that, refineries that they used to do home.
Do you think that these people have got a fucking clue what they're doing? I mean, the Boris Johnsons of this world, right? He's a Bilderberger, right? And it turns out that our prime minister since Margaret Thatcher and her were all Bilderbergers, and they're part of this group that helped to steer where we're going in the world. But we all think he's a bumbling idiot. But I do believe he, like anybody else in politics, has an agenda. You won't get into politics if you're of an honest mind, I don't think. I think you'd have something come up in your life that
and there lies the biggest problem. The good people don't get into politics.
Yeah, you get vetted. I mean, if anybody thinks that Farage is a good person, forget it. He ain't. He's nothing more than a fucking shill. He's controlled opposition. That's all he is.
Yeah.
And the way he dealt after Brexit, now my mate will argue till the cows come. He said he wanted to stay in this until that, and then that was it. No, on the night that it looked like they were going to win this referendum, he went white as a sheet, his face dropped, and that was it. And he quit the next day. And then what he did was he advised to put a succession of leaders into UKIP that was powerful at the time, and it looked like it was going to do well. A fuckwit, right? Absolute bellends, right? And then at the end, what he did was he suggested that they were racist, right? Because they were going to get a load of little Englanders like me, vote for him and others, right? And he set up the Brexit party to split the vote, to make them impotent, right? No, he's a cunt.
Oh, you mean what he did to UKIP, effectively?
Yeah. UKIP were building a building.
Yeah, but
let's not forget he was pushing people to get the vaccination, and he said Tony Blair is an intelligent man and he should run the NHS.
Holy crap.
Fuck my old boots, the war criminal himself. Oh, we've got weapons of mass destruction. Well, you better dig a bit, beat it up. I'll tell you what, you know when the bloke comes back, why don't you just suicide him? That'd be a great idea. Doctor, whatever his chops was.
The thing is with I mean, I don't want to digress because I want to say something about UKIP and I think personally Bannon's slight mistake in regards to bringing Tommy on board, and I think that's where things started to unravel. But as far as Tony Blair, why is this man not just grateful that he's not in prison? Why doesn't he just disappear from public view and just not be grateful that he's not in prison? Because this fucker needs to be in prison for war crimes.
Find out how much him and his missus had before he came to power and how much after.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's unbelievable.
He made a ton of cash. It's unbelievable.
It wasn't just Tommy going over to UKIP that put a load of people off. The NEC and UKIP were running it into the ground because there were people who were like Farage, not for the best interest. And they basically, UKIP was meant to be set up as an opposition party to what the mainstream, so that we would go over to it, right? And it was going to offer us the vote for the referendum. Project Fear was meant to work, and we were meant to have the vote. We were meant to lose, right? And everybody gets then the illusion of, well, we had democracy, you had your vote, right? You did lose, so here's what's going to happen. And Farage would have carried on, well, keep fighting, and he'd have grifted his ass off, and he'd have still earned his £100,000 a year plus expenses at the EU. It didn't happen. So, no, don't ever think that he's. I mean, when he comes out with a story, he's full of shit usually, or he's late on the fucking. I mean, he was listening. Well, he wasn't. His people had seen what Active Patriot was doing down at the docks.
Yeah,
and he got on it and said, "We're the first people to break the news on this." No, you're not. You've been doing it for fucking ages.
I know. I couldn't believe when they pretended as if they were the first ones. When you, by that time, you'd been going down to the docks yourself with Welshman, and Patriot was doing that literally months, if not a best part of like a year.
You're fucking living
that guy
there,
was
isn't he?
going on his own, early in the morning, late at night, whenever he could basically find that these boats were coming in. That guy was an absolute trooper and put so much work and effort, and then some fucking. Farage comes in and just like
and steals all his thunder. Yeah, like nah. Well, we knew what happened, but Farage is Farage is about Farage. Farage has a huge ego, right? Yeah, he wants to have his face in every camera going, all right. And when he got on board with Trump, I mean, he loved that, didn't he? That gave him some status, didn't it?
Oh God, yeah.
I'm a statesman now. Oh, well done. But I did like it when he used to wind up the people in the European Union. I did like some of his speeches. Because he was an annoying bastard to them, but he is what he is. So after Farage and the numerous leaders, then we had Gerard Batten, which I believe was a good bloke. But since then, no, it's so corrupt within UKIP, I wouldn't give it the steam off my piss now.
Yeah, unfortunately, UKIP.
Gentlemen, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go.
I am as well, because I've got work in a couple hours.
Yeah,
this is a good time. I know. Sorry, Rev. I know you have to get up early. That's what wasn't.
Rev, thanks for coming on. Just jump on whenever you want. It's great having you. If you're doing a show this Saturday, I might come on for 5 minutes. Though you've answered my questions, we all agree that we need to fight PA.
I don't fuck all to do with that lot at all because I'm an independent. All right, bud. See you in a bit.
Nice to have
Thank you,
mate.
guys. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, MC. I'm sorry we're gonna have to end it, and we'll do a show, you and I, about Russia. Don't worry.
Can we just play one video before we go? So we've got a debate coming up on Speakers Con Online. It's organised by Open Your Eyes UK Emergency Frequency, and this is the advert that is got created.
Make it full screen. No, the YouTube.
More time. Proteins were more primitive in the past. You know they're going to form. Okay.
It reminds me of Kent Hovind's debate recently where he went up against Mark Drysdale. And Mark Drysdale goes, "We need more time, Kent. We need more time.
We need more time."
That's the problem. You won't allow us the time. You always tell us that the time is the religion. It's not enough time, Kent. We need more time.
Yeah, you need lots of time. I know.
How much time do they need to produce all left-handed amino acids? Trillions of years? It's just absurd. It doesn't work. How about that? They'll never say that.
Right. And then I love Homer's reaction too. He kind of leaned up in his chair and he's like, "Yeah, I know, Mark. You need lots of time."
It was hilarious.
Do you think your brain was designed by anybody with any intelligence?
Absolutely not.
You may be right on that one.
Weak.
Yeah, so there you go. So that debate is being organised, and we're looking for the opposing party. So I just heard you say weak, Banksy. Would you like to be the atheist that debates this speaker?
I think there are better qualified atheists than myself. I personally think that I recommended a few people, as you know, already, but we'll just have to see which one. If no one else takes him on, then yeah, sure, I'll take him on. I mean, his stuff is weak as piss. The man thinks that the world used to be surrounded by a globe of ice, and that's what caused the flood of Noah's flood. I mean, trust me, I know Hogan.
There you go.
Now,
Open Eyes UK emergency frequency.
Has anyone ever asked Kent Hogan about the years he spent in prison for tax evasion?
So this atheist here is challenging, throwing down the gauntlet and saying, if you don't find anyone else, he shall take on. He shall represent Satan. But there you go.
Yes, hail Satan. But I mean, we can ask Aaron Raw. We can ask actually Thunderfoot maybe. There's still a few more people that I can throw your way, but I only threw the couple. But to be honest with those people that I threw your way, I think they're too big. That's why they won't debate Hoven. Because they're too big, and also they want a channel that's quite big, because these guys are like the guy I sent. The second one has like 2 million subscribers. So yeah.
Can I before we go? Can I also plug my Friday show? I'm going to be discussing.
Did you make an ad?
I'm going to be discussing Banksy's digital boyfriend, Steve Hope Not Hate. I'm going to be discussing other very tasty things. So tune in 7 o'clock on Friday. I may do a double stream. In other words, I'll start off in the studio, and then I may go and drive. I'll do car dawa.
Car dawa. Car dawa.
If
the best kind of dawa.
If somebody wants to say, what's your favorite Banksy stream or video, it would have to be when you were actually. Can I show you something? Have you seen this? Oh my god, you're gonna love this. You must have seen this. There's no way you haven't seen this. Oh, a minute. Let me just load up my Discord.
Actually, MC says not ARU. ARU might actually be on Hoven's level. ARU, unfortunately, I don't know how to even get in touch with someone like ARU. And I have also said some disparaging things about ARU being a giant douchebag at times. So he may not be too favorable towards me. I got kicked off his Discord server once. But,
right, let me share my screen. Bear with me.
Yeah, they're to be honest with them, I don't know. ARU can be a bit of a douche, but there are plenty. I mean, I don't know if we can ask Amazing Atheist. I don't think he'll come. He's too big as well.
Have you seen this? Jordan M, your favorite.
Is he released a new video?
He says a man's true friend, and he's got a pussy on a leash.
Has he got a cat? He's got a cat on a leash. He doesn't have a dog. He has a cat.
A kitten. Man's true best friend.
He's got a cat on a leash.
This is an adult man pretending that cats are anything but mice eaters.
But I've actually heard that he's married now. I heard through the grapevine that he's married. I don't know where it was. Somebody said to him, "Congratulations on the wedding." So maybe that's his wife's cat. That's why.
That looks like a new kitten to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
But why would you put it on a leash? What's all that about?
Well, it's probably not to run away. If it's not used to them.
It's on the top floor of a building, mate. Where's it going to run?
Yeah, well, cats. Well, maybe that's what it is. It's a kitten. It might fucking throw itself off the goddamn building.
Come on, man. This is ridiculous.
I know why he's got a cat. He's fucking Muslim, innit? He can't have a dog. Dogs are haram. You can't have a dog inside the house, and he doesn't have anywhere outside he can keep it because he's probably in a flat. So he can't have a dog. He has to have a cat. Oh my god, that makes so much sense.
Okay, so before Banksy plays his outro video, just want to remind everybody, if you want to win, Raj is at work. If you want to win Raj's artwork, you've got to find a chemtrail in one of the 3D rooms, 3D chat rooms in Speakers Corner Online. Take a screen grab and send it to info@speakerscorner.online. info@speakerscorner.online. They're going to be forwarded to me, and I'm going to see which is my favorite one. All right. That's it. I'm out. Thank you so much for hosting, Banksy, and ruining the show for the first 30 minutes, giving a digital blowjob to Steve Help Not Hate. Peace.
All right. Okay, guys. Thank you for coming, everyone. Thanks, Simon. Thanks, MC. MC, you and I, we will do this thing on Friday. We will set up a show, talk about Russia.
Banksy,
we'll do it right in the middle of Manny's show.
Banksy, I'm actually going to jump off, mate, and not wait for the chat because I need to go.
I'll wrap it up. Don't worry. As always, I'll hold it down. I'll hold it down as always, Manny.
Right. See you later. Bye.
Later. Okay. So, boys and girls, well, that's it, really. We're done. We're done for the day. Thank you for coming, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. There's just Sam M. There's just so many in the chat. You guys are all awesome. MC, Nadaverse. Oh, God. The Prophet Wanksy himself. Wassalamu alaikum. Samadara. Yeah, everyone, guys, thank you for coming. As always, we love you. Please like, subscribe to this channel, and also go to Speakers Corner Online and create an account and post the things that you've always wanted to post, and social media has banned you from it. It is unbanned, uncensored environment where you can express yourselves and be the free people that you deserve to be, that you were born to be. So yeah, thank you guys, and enjoy the outro.
Justice is indivisible. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
If any words that I have spoken have commanded attention, that is only because they find an echo in the breasts of those of every lad and of every race who love freedom and are the foes of tyranny.
You are not our queens. You are not our kings. You are not our gods. We do not belong to you. We are not your slaves. We stand as free humans, have stood since the beginning of time against the strong men.